Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Candid Conversations with Coach Pam. And I'm so happy to be here with you on another Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to have these conversations in support of the advancement and the success of African American teens. So I am here tonight without any guests, but I'm going to be discussing tonight D Day, Decision Day. Tomorrow is May 1st. Today is the last day of April. Tomorrow is the Universal Decision Day for most colleges. It is when students who have received offers of admission must commit to a university or a college. And usually that requires that you put down a deposit to hold your space in the class. And this year's class is the class of 2027. Yay! Congratulations to those who have received offers of admission. Now, why does there need to be such a thing as a decision day? Because in situations where it is a competitive college or university, where they have more people applying to be a member of the class than they have seats, they have had to reject certain students. They have offered admission to other students, prospective students. And then in many instances, there may be a wait list because it is somewhat of a gamble. And they're using algorithms. There's math involved, so they accept more people than they have seats, with the expectation that everybody they admit is not going to attend. And so, decision day is the day where um, prospective students let a university know this is the school that I want to attend, and then the schools count up all of the folks that they've gotten intentions from, and hopefully those numbers work out well. If those numbers are lower than their intended uh, uh, enrollment number, then they can go to their wait list. So, um, the work that I do and the ideal situation for you as a prospective student or you as a family member with a prospective student is that you have more choices, that you have multiple offers of admission. And so you've maybe had to decide between school A, B, and C, or maybe there are a handful of schools that you have to decide between. And so we're going to talk today about what factors go into the weighing of those decisions, and how perhaps there are ways to alleviate that anxiety or any confusion. And so that's what our topic is for tonight. But first of all, let's talk about the fact that yesterday I hosted a virtual conference. It was called Parent Empowered for College Bound Success, and it was a success. Those of us who participated enjoyed serving the parents that were in attendance, and we hope that everyone who was there came away feeling empowered. We offered many tips and secrets, and we debunked several myths and gave strategies for how to attack standardized testing. It was just a half a day, full of priceless information. And so, if there are any among you who were perhaps interested in attending, but for whatever reason you weren't able to, um, we are offering for a very limited time until Wednesday, May 3rd, the opportunity to get the what we're calling the Summit Success Bundle. And that bundle includes a copy of the digital recordings. So you get to see the entire summit digitally at your leisure. And it also includes a summit success kit. And that success kit includes information that's provided by all the experts that mirrors their talks. So we have a financial educator, and so she gave 3 smart money tips or smart money moves. And so the success kit includes some tips as well. The one speaker spoke on admission and scholarship tips. And so there are also some information on how you approach college and not be debt and burdened in the success kit. And so there's information uh, on how you might obtain a copy of that success bundle. And that's the Summit Success Bundle. And it's available uh, by bit.ly/ your success bundle. And so um, I don't know how many of you all may have seen, there's an article that's going around on social media. And every time I see these kinds of posts, it irritates me. And for some of you all, you may be uh, congratulating the kid, but there's a young man this year in Louisiana who has applied to 200 colleges and received acceptances. I think the last time I saw a post, he'd been accepted to 170 colleges. And I'm not applauding that. And then they're talking about the millions of dollars in scholarship money he's been offered. And, basically what they're taking is the offers of admission, and a school will offer a scholarship perhaps to the student. And so they're adding up, okay, this school plus that school plus the other school that, they're just with a calculator, just adding up the dollars, and, reaching this huge number. Now, the article says that this young man has chosen to apply to 200 colleges because he wants to break a Guinness World Record. Okay, I'm all for, you know, having goals. And if that's a goal of his and he wants to achieve it, and he's obviously, apparently, he has broken the record with 170 acceptances, okay, you make the Guinness Book of World Records. But I'm not impressed by that. And it's almost like, what is the point? Um, I compare it to, let's say, there's a woman out there that wants to make the Guinness World Book of Records, and she gets 100 marriage proposals. It's like, okay, why is that news, and why would we applaud that when the ultimate goal is to find one true love, right? Obviously, the more marriage proposals you get, I guess it quantifies that you are an attractive individual. So the same for this young man, the more college admittances he receives, the more attractive he is as a prospective college student. But the ultimate goal in this process should be to have a match, like a marriage made in heaven, or a lifetime partner, if you're seeking a marriage proposal, with the college match, the college selection process, the college admission process. The ultimate goal is to find an ideal fit for you as a college student for the next approximately 4 years, right? That's the ultimate goal. And so, while a lot of the work that I do, a huge part of my motivation is to make sure that our young people have choices. Choices mean, 2 or 3 schools that are your ideal place, maybe 5 at best, that you are seriously considering attending, because Otherwise, it shows to me that you have not done the work on the front end in terms of routing out your interests and understanding how the schools will match your interests. And so let's talk about that whole process, because I think that a lot of times parents and students will spend their junior and senior year going through the motions, going through the process of what we call college prep. But there should have been a lot of planning even before junior year to understand what schools are offering, and also demonstrating how it matches with your ultimate goals, at least in the short term for the next 4 to 5 to 6 years, right? So, um, I think that any school that you're admitted to, that you are ultimately considering spending 4 years at, you should definitely have visited the campus. And if you haven't visited the campus before you applied, you certainly, during the period where you receive the acceptance and the time that D Day happens, which is tomorrow, you should have had the opportunity to go visit that campus to see if what I think this experience is going to be like matches up with what it really is like. Because the assumptions, you know, can be great, and the reality can be something entirely different. Um, I give a talk about how applying to college or selecting a college to attend is similar to buying a car. And oftentimes, we wouldn't dare think about buying a car without taking it for a test drive. And I mean, you might not have actually taken it for a test drive before you're actually showing up in the car dealership with your financing, or your cash money ready to make a selection. But before you close that deal, you absolutely will get behind the wheel and go for a test drive. And so I feel like the college admission and selection and ultimate college success and your attendance and graduation is similar, that you should go for that test drive. So hopefully, for folks who are making these decisions, they're based on having visited a college campus. And let's think about that. You realistically should not wait, if at all possible, until the final days or weeks or whatever, when you're in these decisions, because it could turn out that you go visit, let's say you are thinking about 3 or 4 schools, and you have the ability to maybe go visit all of them. And you might go and visit them all and not be feeling very good about any of them. So, if at all possible, you should visit college campuses before you submit applications. But I understand that that's not always possible, um, financially, maybe even geographically or whatever. But the ideal situation is that you visit college campuses early on in your high school career, actually. Another factor that is high on the list of decision making, right, is the financial considerations. And similar to, again, comparing it to car shopping, there's the sticker price, right? And if you know anything about buying a car, the sticker price is not always the real price, right? That's not necessarily the price you're going to pay. But the sticker price is what the uh, the college will advertise is their cost of attendance, and that will include tuition and room and board and any other fees. And so that is a consideration for most all families, even if they are able to pay out of pocket, right? So you want to compare the finances of school A to school B to school C. And if you are awarded any financial aid from the school, you'll get a financial award letter, and it will spell out this is uh, what the cost of attendance will be. This is what we're offering you as a prospective student in our financial aid package. And most financial aid packages will offer three aspects: scholarships, which is money you do not have to pay back. There will be um, work study, which is a portion of what the school will then allow you to receive in terms of the ability to work. And then there's a loan component in many financial aid awards. And so oftentimes, what you need to be comparing, not just what it looks like now, is understanding, are the schools going to offer this package, a comparable package every year? So all 4 years. Because what you have to be careful of is there are some schools that will, what they call front load a financial aid award. And they will say, make it look as if, oh, we're giving you all this money the first year, but then, the well runs dry the second and subsequent years. And so now you're a student at this school and it's a financial burden for you to attend. The other thing is, what are the stipulations? If there are scholarships, what are the stipulations? Do you have to have a certain grade point average? Do you have to major in a certain field? Are there any other requirements or stipulations or limitations on what you as a prospective student can do with this money that they're offering? And so you need to be clear on those kinds of things. And you also want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples in terms of comparing one school to another school. Sometimes we get caught up in, oh, they awarded my son or my daughter $50,000, and the cost of tuition is $100,000, right? The cost of attending. So there's a $50,000 gap. Whereas another school may only be offering $20,000, but the cost of attendance is only $50,000. So there's a $30,000 gap. So let's not get hung up on the actual sticker prices or the numbers. In terms of, you have to really make sure that you compare apples to apples and are able to see clearly what the true cost of attendance will be at a said school. And then obviously you have to factor in things like the fact that the cost of attendance may look like they're identical. But if you live on the East Coast and this school's on the West Coast, and that's going to add additional transportation costs at least twice a year, then there's a difference in the cost of attendance, right, for a school that's nearby that you could possibly drive to. So, what are the other things that people use as deciding factors now that we're down to the wire? And oftentimes it can be, and it should be, things like um, what are the supports that are going to be in place for me as a student or for as a parent? What are the supports? What resources are available to support my kids' success on campus? And we're talking about outside of the academic departments, right? So, do they have tutoring that's available? And is it free or is it going to cost? So, if you need additional help in any of your subjects, are there resources there to support you? Um, if you, and I'm talking primarily to Black families, what's the Black student population look like, and what kind of supports are there to support my son or daughter, or if you're the student, to support me as a student on campus. This is the assumption that you're going to a predominantly white institution and you're a Black student. And even if you are going to a historically Black college, what kinds of supports are there? Um, in We're talking about straight, clear mental health supports, as well as just uh, being able to be of support in all of the issues that um, racial intolerance, Black Lives Matter. How supportive are these schools and these campuses when students run into issues? Just, you know, studying while Black, right? And so the campuses will vary. I mean, there are HBCUs that are more student friendly and have more resources to support what we might call advocacy, um, as there are in terms of predominantly white institutions, in terms of schools that have uh, not just Black student organizations, but have faculty and staff that are dedicated to supporting Black or students of color on their campuses. And what kinds of communities are these schools located in? So, is the school located in the hood? Um, and if it is, what kind of safety is available on all of these campuses? These are the kinds of things that now we're getting down into the nitty gritty. And uh, you're going to be spending 4 years of your life on these college campuses. And so these are the subtle differences that will make or break your ability to say, I had a great time, I had a great experience, I was successful. Because let's face it, there will be times during a student's tenure on campuses where they're going to run into some adversities, they're going to run into some challenges, they're going to have some personal struggles. And you want to make sure that you're in an environment that is rich with the proper resources to support you and to support your success. So these are the kinds of decisions, these are the kinds of things that will ultimately make or break a decision. Some of the things that, as a college student or prospective college student, it may come down to is the housing. What's the housing look like? What are the options? And what's the dining uh, facilities like, or the food choices, right? And college A and college B may be very similar in terms of the academic offerings, but it may come down to things as trivial, you know, as the dining facilities. But then, um, what you should have possibly investigated on the front end is if you have an area of study or an area, a career interest. Uh, what does it look like in terms of the supports there, the faculty, right? While they may have name uh, faculty, will I really have access to those people? Will they really get to know me? Because one of the points that I constantly make with young people is we all know the adage that it's not just what you know, it's who you know. But I say it's not just what you know and who you know, it's who knows you. So you want to definitely be in an environment where you will get to be known by faculty and by staff who will then recommend you for internships, who will recommend you for research opportunities on campus, who will recommend you for awards and for leadership positions, because those are the things that will ultimately help you advance your career and your life after college. So, those are just some of the things that you definitely should be concerned with and interested in terms of your success when it comes to deciding, am I going to school A? Am I going to school B? Am I going to school C? Or I'm just really afraid to make a choice, right? So let's be real though for a minute. It's okay to make a decision tomorrow and ultimately change your mind, or um, attend a school and after a semester realize this isn't the place for me. right? So, in terms of alleviating anxiety, it's it's best to perhaps make that choice and be good with it. But it's even better to make a decision, test it out, and then realize, hey, um, this wasn't the right decision. I can change my mind. So know that that is okay too. On a on a humble note, also, I need to remind students and parents that once a college has given you an offer of admission and you have accepted it, they can still rescind that offer. So don't let senioritis get you in trouble and cause you to blow the last quarter of your senior year enjoying your senior year. I can tell you all that I suffered from that a little bit, and I got admitted to college and made that decision. And then my last, I don't know, I think it was the third quarter, I like bombed a couple of classes, and my parents had to come up to school and have meetings, parent teacher conferences. And I had to turn that around very quickly because I did not want to not attend college because of some foolishness and some silliness, right? So let's stay focused. Let's not, you know, get senioritis, and let's not be posting anything crazy on social media, because that's real. Those things can be seen, and there are stories of students losing their offers of admission because of some foolishness that was posted on social media. So let's not go there. Let's not do that. And then there was, let's see, what else? I'm blanking out now. There was something else I wanted to remind you all in terms of these last few days, weeks, and months of your senior year of high school as you get ready to enter college. I guess the other thing, though, is that once you have made those decisions and are looking forward to your freshman year of college, let's set some goals in terms of stepping outside of your comfort zone, and let's make some social goals. So don't go on these college campuses and just hang out with the same folks that are like you. So let's say if you're, from a middle class background, only gravitate to the kids that are just like you. Make friends, above and below you. If you are going across the country and um, you are in unfamiliar territory, don't just gravitate to the folks that are from your same part of the country, or that just, have the same interests as you. And even if you are very clear about what your intended course of study is, step outside that comfort zone and let's take a course or an area of interest that is very different from what you might have perhaps been interested in the past. Let's see if we have any comments here. Um, let's see. We've got a comment from Miss Patience that was commenting on the 200 colleges. It's just the Common App and schools that accept most applicants, in terms of the young man that had applied to all those schools. Yeah. Um, that's crazy, right? Um, and then we have a comment from Miss Patricia about the same comment about the young man. What is he even planning to study? Ms. Patricia, he says he's planning to study computer science and then ultimately go to law school, right? So, anyway, it's just that many schools. Like, is he? there's no way he's considering attending 200 schools. And so for anybody that's sat on the other side, right, of a selection process, it's 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 a turnoff to think that we're just filling out applications and just clicking a box to say, yeah, I'm applying to this school. I do know that I think for HBCUs, there's a common HBCU application. So you can fill that one application out and it goes out to all of the schools that are a part of that system. So it could be, I know there are about 100 HBCUs, but I don't believe every one of them is a part of that system. So you fill out one application, and all those schools get to see your application, and so they might reach out to you and offer you admission. And I'm saying that's fair, right? To know that that many schools may be interested in you, but ultimately, you know, you know whether you really are considering any of those schools. So, on that note, for anyone who is in middle school, a freshman or sophomore in high school, and certainly let me speak to current juniors who will be rising seniors, don't apply. Don't do that. Don't apply to that many schools. I mean, you definitely want to apply to what we call safety schools, schools for which, you know, um, it's highly likely that you will be admitted. And then you apply to some of your, what we would consider reach schools, where there is mm, maybe people would say 50-50. We're not really sure that you would get in there. You're possibly competitive. And then I'd say you apply to one or two dream schools, right? That seem totally out of your reach. But if you put forth your best uh, presentation, that it would be, um, you might be very attractive. It's all very subjective sometimes on who's on the admission boards and what they might find compelling. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off and say until next week. Next week, I will be having a guest, a marine biologist, who will be coming on and sharing his background and hopefully giving some insight into encouraging more young people to, when people think about STEM, they not don't necessarily think about marine biology. But let's hope that with that conversation next week, it'll be something that will be of interest to all of you guys. So until then, take care.